Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Welcome to Al Munir High School e-learning system, class 9. This is your chemistry lecture. Unit number is 6. This is the title page of your chemistry book for class 9. Today our topic is about the solutions. First of all, look at the introduction. Solutions are homogeneous mixtures of two or more components. This is the definition of solutions. Generally, solutions are found in three physical states depending upon the physical state of the solvent. For example, alloy is a solid solution, seawater is a liquid solution, and air is a gaseous solution. There are 9 types of solutions ranging from gas to gas, air we breathe to solid and solid solutions, dental, amalgam for filling of tooth. Liquid solutions are the most common solutions because of the most common solvent, water. First of all, look at the definition of solution. A solution is a homogeneous mixture of two or more substances. The boundaries of the components can't be distinguished. A solution exists as one phase. For example, the air we breathe is a solution of several gases. Brass is a solid solution of zinc and copper. Sugar dissolved in water is an example of liquid solution. The simplest way to distinguish between a solution and a pure liquid is evaporation. The liquid which evaporates completely, leaving no residue, is a pure compound, while a liquid which leaves behind a residue on evaporation is solution. An alloy like brass and bronze is also a homogeneous mixture, although it cannot be separated by physical means. It shows the properties of its components and it has a variable composition. Now look at the definition of aqueous solution. The solution which is formed by dissolving a substance in water is called an aqueous solution. For example, sugar in water and table salt in water. Aqueous solutions are mostly used in the laboratories. Water is called a universal solvent because it dissolves majority of compounds present in earth crust. Solute, the component of solution which is present in smaller quantity is called solute. For example, salt solution is made by dissolving salt in water. So in salt solution, salt is the solute and water is solvent. Solvent, the component of a solution which is present in larger quantity is called solvent. For example, water is the solvent. Saturated solution, when a small amount of solute is added in a solvent, solute dissolves very easily in the solvent. If the addition of solute is kept on, a stage is reached when the solvent cannot dissolve any more solute. At this stage, further added solute remains undissolved and it settles down. So a solution containing maximum amount of solute at a given temperature is called saturated solution. Unsaturated solution, a solution which contains lesser amount of solute than that which is required to saturate it at a given temperature is called unsaturated solution. Such solutions have the capacity to dissolve more solute to become a saturated solution. Supersaturated solution, when saturated solutions are heated, they develop further capacity to dissolve more solute. Such solutions contain greater amount of solute than is required to form a saturated solution and they become more concentrated. The solution that is more concentrated than a saturated solution is known as supersaturated solution. Supersaturated solutions are not stable, therefore an easy way to get a supersaturated solution is to prepare a saturated solution at high temperature. An easy way to get a supersaturated solution is to prepare a saturated solution at high temperature. It is then cooled to a temperature where excess solute crystallizes out and leaves behind a saturated solution. For example, a saturated solution of sodium thiosulfate Na2S2O3 in water at 20 degrees centigrade has 20.9 grams of salt per 100 centimeter cube of water. Less than this amount of salt per 100 centimeter cube of water at 20 degrees centigrade will be in unsaturated solution. Next students, we have the concept of dilution of solution. The solutions are classified as dilute or concentrated on the basis of relative amount of solute present in them. Dilute solutions are those which contain relatively small amount of dissolved solute in the solution. Concentrated solutions are those which contain relatively large amount of dissolved solute in the solution. For example, brine is concentrated solution of common salt in water. These terms describe the concentration of the solution. Addition of more solvent will dilute the solution and its concentration decreases. Types of solution. Each solution consists of two components, solute and solvent. The solute as well as solvent may exist as gas, liquid or solid. So depending upon the nature of solute and solvent, different types of solutions may form. So here we have the table which shows gas to gas, gas to liquid, gas to solid, gas to liquid to gas, liquid to liquid, liquid to solid, different combinations of solute and solvent and their examples. Concentration units. Concentration is a proportion of a solute in a solution. It is also a ratio of the amount of solute to the amount of solution, or ratio of amount of solute to the amount of the solvent. Please keep in mind that concentration does not depend upon the total volume or total amount of the solution. Percentage, here we have the percentage unit of concentration refers to the percentage of solute present in a solution. The percentage of solute can be expressed by mass or by volume. Here we have the formula for percentage mass to mass. Next we have the formula percentage mass to volume. Here we have the formula for mass to volume. Next we have the formula percentage volume over mass. It is the volume in centimeter cube of a solute dissolved in 100 grams of the solution. So here we have this formula and example is also given. Percentage volume by volume, it is the volume in centimeter cube of a solute dissolved per 100 centimeter cube of the solution. Here we have the example, students. If we had 5 centimeter cube of acetone in water to prepare 90 centimeter cube of aqueous solution, we will take the formula of volume by volume. By putting the values, we will get the answer. Next example is also the same. We will get the formula. We will use the formula of volume by volume. By putting the values, we will get the answer. What is molarity? It is a concentration unit defined as number of moles of solute dissolved in 1 decimeter cube of the solution. It is represented by m. Molarity is the unit mostly used in chemistry and allied sciences. Here we have the formula of molarity: mass of solute over molar mass of solute multiplied by volume of solution. How we can prepare molar solution? 1 molar solution is prepared by dissolving 1 mole of the solute in sufficient amount of water to make the total volume of the solution up to 1 decimeter cube in a measuring flask. For example, 1 mole solution of NaOH is prepared by dissolving 40 grams of NaOH in sufficient water to make the total volume 1 decimeter cube. Next we have the example number 6.2, to how we can find out or calculate the molarity of a solution which is prepared by dissolving 28.4 grams of Na2SO4 in 400 centimeter cube of solution. Here we have the formula. By putting the values, we will get the number of moles of Na2SO4 first of all, and then we will find the molarity with the help of the above formula. Example number 6.3 is the same. We have to find out the molar mass of NaOH. We will find out the volume in decimeter cube, and then we will find the molarity with the help of the above formula. Dilution of solution. Dilute molar solution is prepared from a concentrated solution of known molarity. Suppose we want to prepare 100 centimeter cube of 0.01 mole solution from given 0.1 mole solution of potassium permanganate. First 0.1 moles solution is prepared by dissolving 15.8 grams of potassium permanganate in decimeter cube of solution. Suppose we want to prepare 100 centimeter cube of 0.01 mole solution from given 0.1 moles solution of potassium permanganate. First 0.1 mole solution is prepared by dissolving 15.8 grams of potassium permanganate in 1 decimeter cube of solution. So here we have concentrated solution and dilute solution. M1V1 is equal to M2V2. Putting the values in above equation, concentrated solution and dilute solution will be 10 centimeter cube. So the concentrated solution of KMnO4 has dense purple color. Take 10 centimeter cube of this solution with the help of a graduated pipette and put it in a varying flask of 100 centimeter cube. Add water up to the mark present at the neck of the flask. Now it is 0.01 molar solution of KMnO4. Example 6.4. 10 centimeter cube of 0.01 molar KMnO4 solution has been diluted to 100 centimeter cube. Find out the molarity. So M1 is given, V1 is given, V2 is given. We have to find out the M2. So here we have the formula M1 V1 is equal to M2 V2. We can find the value of M2 by rearranging this formula. Solubility is defined as the number of grams of the solute dissolved in 100 grams of a solvent to prepare a saturated solution at a particular temperature. So here we have the following factors which affect the solubility of solutes. Number one, the ionic and polar substances are soluble in polar solvents. Ionic solids and polar covalent compounds are soluble in water. Non-polar substances are not soluble in polar solvents. Non-polar covalent substances are soluble in non-polar solvents, mostly organic solvent. Solute-solvent interaction and temperature. Solubility and solute-solvent interaction. The solute-solvent interaction can be explained in terms of creation of attractive forces between the particles of solute and those of solvent. To dissolve one substance in another substance, following three events must occur. Solute particles must separate from each other. Solvent particles must separate to provide space for solute particles. Solute and solvent particles must attract and mix up. Solution formation depends upon the relative strength of attractive forces between solute-solute, solvent-solvent and solute-solvent. Generally, solutes are solids. Ionic solids are arranged in such a regular pattern that the inter-ionic forces are at a maximum. If the new forces between solute and solvent particles overcome the solute-solute attractive forces, then solute dissolves and makes its solution. If forces between solute particles are strong enough, then solute solvent forces, solute remains insoluble and solution is not formed. Figure 6.2 shows dissolution of process by the interaction of solvent molecules with the solute ions. The solvent molecules first pull apart the solute ions and then surround them. So here we have the example of NaCl is given. Next we have the effect of temperature on solubility. Temperature has major effect on the solubility of most of the substances. Generally it seems that solubility increases with the increase of temperature, but it is not always true. When a solution is formed by adding a salt in solvent, there are different possibilities with reference to effect of temperature. Heat is observed when salts like KNO3, NaNO3 and KCl are added in water that has to becomes cold. It means during dissolution of these salts heat is observed. Solubility usually increases with the increase in temperature of such solute. It means that heat is required to break the attractive forces between the ions of solute. So here we have this picture which shows the effect of temperature on solubility of different salts in water. So here we have different salts by name. Heat is given out. Number two situation is heat is given out. On the other hand, when salts like Li2SO4 and Ce2SO4 whole 3 are dissolved in water, the residue becomes warm. In such cases, the solubility of salt decreases with the increase of temperature. In such cases, attractive forces among the solute particles are weaker and solute-solvent interactions are stronger. No change in heat. In some cases during a dissolution process, neither the heat is observed not released. When salt like NaCl is added in water, the solution temperature remains almost the same. In such case, temperature has a minimum effect solubility. Next, comparison of, solution, suspension and collide. Solutions are homogeneous mixtures of two or more than two components, as we already have studied in the above topics. Collide, these are solutions in which the solute particles are larger than those present in the true solutions but not large enough to be seen by naked eye. The particles in such system dissolve and do not settle down for a long time, but particles of collides are big enough to scatter to beam of light. The beam of light. It is called Tyndall effect. We can see the path of scattered light beam inside the colloidal solution as shown in this picture. This picture shows the Tyndall effect by collides. Suspension or heterogeneous mixture of unresolved particles in a given medium. Particles are big enough to be seen with naked eyes. Examples are chalk in water, paint of oil of magnesia. Yes, for better understanding of true solutions, false solution and suspension, a comparison of their characteristics is given in this table. So here we have this table which shows the comparisons between solutions, collides and suspensions. The particles exist in their simplest form. The particles are large. The particles are of largest size. Particles dissolve uniformly throughout and form a homogeneous mixture. A colloid appears to be homogeneous, but actually it is a heterogeneous mixture. Particles remain undissolved and form a heterogeneous mixture. Particles are so small that they cannot be seen with naked eye. Particles are larger but can't be seen with the naked eye. Particles are big enough to be seen with naked eye. Solute particles can pass easily through a filter paper, although particles are big but they can pass through a filter paper. Solute particles cannot pass through filter paper. Particles are so small that they cannot scatter the rays of light. Particles scatter the path of light rays, thus emitting the beam of light. Particles are so big that light is blocked and difficult to pass. Next, students, we have the summary or key points of this unit. This is all for today. Thank you. Allah Hafiz.